And we should be once again live. And everything seems to be running smoothly this time around. Alrighty. So today is, as the title implies, Spading the Tann, finally. I'm very close to doing it. And very close to getting the Helgoland. So I think I'll just jump straight in. Hello there. I should have the... let me check how much up here I still have to go. I'll definitely get Helgoland before spading it. Oh, are you the... yeah, I think I know who you are. You're the guy from the other day on the Warted server. Although I forgot what your name was on there. I recently rewatched that video as well after a conversation about carriers. And it definitely isn't my best work. But it's alright. At least from my standards. Hello there, Black Tank. I mean, Worth It is a bit of a difficult one in my opinion, because I've grinded like all naval nations, so I don't really see like going down one worth it. Germany's a bit of a weird one though, because their battleships aren't that great, but they're not terrible either. Like the fun thing about these dreadnoughts is that they have, actually all of the dreadnoughts have a relatively fast fire rate. Like they all have sub 30 second reloads. Which for the 11-inch guns kind of makes sense because they're smaller guns. But let me just check the reload again. So yeah, 26 to 20 seconds. And I think that's the same for Westphalen because it has the same guns, yep. But even the Baden and the 12-inch gun armed dreadnoughts have relatively faster fire rates. So they're not terrible in my opinion. They're not that great either. They're a bit... all of the early dreadnoughts are a bit weak in terms of armor protection compared to the 7.0 monsters. The German cruisers are kind of fun, but also quite fragile. I think the German tree is alright, it's just not one that I'm particularly interested in compared to some of the other trees out there. This is going to be full up there, isn't it? Small match. I don't like being a small match. I also don't like having to face high navy. But oh well. We'll just spawn first, I guess. That is Helena, a Courbet, French battleship. Ooh, Iron Duke. That's our navy guy. No, that's not the navy guy. Okay, good. We've got a Kite of us. The Iron Duke is going to be a bit of an issue. I don't think the French battleship is going to be too much of an issue. Is the French battleship the Navy guy? No. The Navy guy has spawned. Yep. But where? I'm just looking over his name. Oof. Oh, I hope you can as well. Let's see if we can maybe detonate that French battleship. The Iron Duke seems to be occupied with something else, so let's just leave it like that. Whilst we mess with this French battleship. I'm looking out for Japanese battleships now because of that Iron Navy guy getting killed in a PT-15, which is a Japanese patrol boat. Nothing too dangerous yet. We've got Texas, which is not the greatest. It's better than nothing. Okay, that's range. Let's try and get that middle turret. But I think that's a bit too far forward. Not too bad. Didn't quite hit where I wanted though. And there is our Japanese battleship, Fuso. I'd call it'll be the Helena. It's still afloat somehow. So our objective will be hugging that island in front of us as quickly as possible. Is it too much lead? Don't think so. It is a bit. And there goes the Kurt Bear. Lovely. The Helena is low health. Let's try and hit some of those forward compartments a bit more. That should be good. A bit high though, but that should be it sinking, yep. What is our next target? The Fuso is not occupied with me. The Iron Duke isn't either. So I'll leave those be for the time being, because I do not have the armament to deal with them. Yes, you usually do want to shoot for stuff that isn't damaged yet, as that will bleed the most amount of crew. Like for example on this guy, I want to shoot the rear section of his ship, because his front half is just annihilated. So we'll aim for the rear, wait for the reload. And fire away. There we go, a little bit too much to the rear. I would have liked to hit those engines, but I hit this rear group over here. Don't think I'll be able to arc my shells over this island, although my secondaries might be able to. So for now we'll just cease our firing and keep going. The Texas needs to pull its weight, because we don't have any other really big gun battleships like they do. Where is the Texas? Might be able to do something. Ah, Baden spawn is good to see. Some more big guns. Haven't suffered too much damage yet, just a few secondaries. Okay, PR-26 is taking each other out, but one was an AI. That is a Shimakaze. That is a danger. The last event ship was that thing, the Baden. Oh, no problem, Fenrir. You're not that late. The Baden is okay. I've also have a stream of it. If you want to look through the archive of my streams. There's nothing much you can really say about those 7-0 dreadnoughts. Also, that Shimikaze being that close is not that nice. I am indeed playing 6-3 because my Wonder Tann is almost spaded. And I almost have the next 6.3 German dreadnought. So I might as well gun for it in this little session. That is not good. That is not good at all. I'm going to die. Come on, come on. Can I finish it up before launching torpedoes? I knocked out all of his torpedo tubes, by the looks of it. Yes, I did. I did knock out all of his torpedo tubes. Thank God. But are there any torpedoes in the water? Not that I can see, and I think they would have already hit me. So that was really, really darn lucky that I knocked out all of those torpedo tubes. Well, thank you. There's another French battleship. Second spawn to Cordoba, looking at the camera. So let's just settle down those guns again. And see if we can do some damage. The front of him is severely damaged, and also he's burning in his turrets and in the magazine. They might actually just burn out. So let's just try and get some damage in for an assist. Or get the kill. Now this Fuso. I want to try a salvo at it, and I think I will. So this Fuso wasn't our I-Navy guy. Range is 6. What is my pen at 6 kilometers? Anywhere between like 350 and 280. Quite good enough to deal with a Fuso, really. So let's ignore it for the time being. It is something that you just get to the hang of when you do it a lot. Of course, I'm being stationary here to make myself a bit easier to aim. You can also, of course, always wait for the lead indicator, but that lead indicator only shows you the lead to hit the center of the ship. At the moment, I don't want to hit the center, I want to hit behind the center, so I aim a little bit behind the lead indicator. And that should do it. There we go. It is just something you get the hang of as something I can actually recommend is to just do test sails, like go in a test sail with a ship you're having some difficulties with and just sail around in circles, or just do some kind of maneuvering to try and throw your own aim off. That's not a player cruiser. We can thin out the cruiser herd a bit. What do we have there? Is that an AI? Or this was a wreck? Okay. I've lost the turret somehow, so that's a bit concerning. Just a bit concerned of where that I-Navy player is. If he's being a Japanese torpedo thing, it's concerning. Yeah, the Z-15 is a really fun ship. Fuso is still not looking at me. The Armada is, so let's deal with it. So what I'm doing now is, it is turning this way, and I'm moving to the right. So it's no longer really moving left to right, but I'm moving to the right. I have to adjust left, and that's what the lead indicator is also showing me. So let's do just that. I am speeding up though, and I don't think I adjusted it properly. I did, but I was way undershooting it. Oh, what are you? Eee, that's the Iron Duke. Okay. Okay, that's good. And there's the Shimakaze again. Now we're in a bit of trouble. My main priority is the Shimakaze because that's his last spawn. So that will be taking out a player. The Iron Duke in front of me I can't really do much about, so I'll just ignore it. And at this point I'm just working on a timer. I'll try and do as much damage as I can before I sink. Shimakaze will go down. If I can actually hit something other than the engines. There we go. So again, Iron Duke in front. I might actually want to keep going right to use that island as some cover. It is too much lead. I thought he was going to keep turning, but he didn't. Or it didn't, because it is an AI. It should be sinking. It is sinking, so it's no longer really a threat. The heavy cruiser isn't much of a threat to me. The Iron Duke definitely is, so we need to get behind that island before he detonates me. And we keep going. Lose a turret, that's fine. We can always get that back. I am now roughly in cover from that Iron Duke. And now I can just continue working over these weaker ships. That guy should be sinking soon. We'll do a little bit of tactical beaching, but that's fine. Repair, because we've lost some of our guns. I'd rather have them back. There we go. We are behind on tickets, which is a bit annoying. We do have a Scharnhorst on our team, that's good to know. I don't see any torpedo trails from the Shimakaze I fought earlier. And if I take a Shimakaze torpedo, I'll be more than fine with it. I'm seeing a Helena in front of me doing some funky maneuvers. So that'll be my next target. His front is already damaged, so the most damage I can do is from shooting him in the rear. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Yeah. Scharnhorst currently is the meta battleship. I don't own the Scharnhorst myself, so I don't actually know how it plays. But facing it, it is one of the tankiest ships in game, if not the tankiest. There we go. Again, I'm immune from the... Ooh, what do we have there? That's a French heavy cruiser that is not happy with me. And because it is directly fighting me, I'll fight back. It has torpedoes, it just launched them. So what I'm going to do is turn and get more behind this island. Because it's going to take a while for those torpedoes to reach me. In the meantime, mess them up a bit. Okay, now we start accelerating. Helena got sunk by the Texas, perfect. I shoot the rear. There we go, severe damage, and we go forward to not get hit by his torpedoes. He has no torpedoes in the tubes, not that I can see. So if he comes around the island later on, he shouldn't be a threat. We are still behind on tickets. So the thing is that Iron Duke is a bit of a problem. Yes, the torpedoes are physically modeled in the tube, so you can, if they're close enough like that, you can see them in the tubes. What I'm going to do now is say, screw it, I do not care if I survive, I just want to kill. that cruiser and then actually start doing some damage to that fleet. I have my own torpedoes, they have a 5.9 kilometer range. Are they on 4 meter depth? They are not. Perfect, I can actually hit the convoy ships with them. Although I don't think I have enough time for them to hit. How fast are they? 50, yeah, I probably don't. And that Iron Duke is dealing with a convoy, that's not good. Yeah, I think we'll have lost this battle. And there goes most of my shells straight into the island. Can I get a full-on bow and shot? Ah, he has torpedoes on the other side, but he couldn't launch them before I killed him. But I did almost forget about those. I don't think I have the armor penetration to actually deal with that ship. I don't have the torpedo depth setting to deal with him either. But what we can do is just, you know, launch a salvo, see what happens. And then we'll launch some torpedoes on that way, I think. He did do decent damage, but nowhere near ammo, and I don't think I can detonate that ship to begin with. So let's try... Actually, that's out of my torpedo range. Is that inside? That is. It also is, but I'm already too late. Yes, the torpedo depth setting. You only have two, it's 1 meter and 4 meter. 1 meter is fine enough against most targets, but you practically need 4 meter depth setting against battleships. And I'll get back onto that when I'm in the hangar, because I can show you their stats. Torpedo bomber, my crew called out, but I don't think I can do much about it. At this point, I don't think I'll... actually, we're close to evening out the score again. So ignore the player ships. And we'll target some of these AIs. Do I have vision on another cargo ship? Not really. There goes a plane. Oh boy. Is that a duck? What plane is that? That's a G67. Okay. Don't see many of those around. And there we go. My ship's gonna go down. We did actually gain the ticket advantage. Okay. Let's just keep shooting at these destroyers. I should have enough... I might not have enough time for another main gun salvo, but I'll try. No, I didn't. Damn. But that's definitely a very good run. And we have backup. A very good run in Wonderton. Yeah. So the thing... I do overpan these ships, but what happens is... I don't know how to explain this. You do explosive damage and kinetic damage, so to say. Like, for example, you see the crew hitboxes on this ship. I'll show it in the hangar to explain it a bit clearly. But overpanning isn't that big of a problem as you'd think it would be. As long as you directly hit whatever you want to try and destroy, the kinetic damage will usually be enough to just destroy it outright. When it comes to combat ranges, that's just personal preference. Like, I usually never really liked shooting over 7 kilometers in destroyers. But that is something you get used to, something you try and Just learn. But it is perfectly fine to just hold fire. Well, I say that. It's perfectly fine to dictate your own combat ranges. But if you see a target of opportunity or you see a target you have to engage, you should shoot it. Either to distract it or just to try and do some damage to it. For example, I'm shooting this Congo class now because 1, I don't have any other targets, and 2, I know I can actually damage it. Even if not by a lot. Or if I can actually hit it not high up in the superstructure. We still hold a ticket advantage. There we go, a better hit. Congo did sink to Pittsburgh next to me. Against World War I battleships, Spey does alright. It is just a problem that Spey cannot take any fire in return. But Spey does have guns hard hitting enough to do damage. Actually, you'd be surprised how many normal heavy cruisers can deal with the World War I battleships. Also, I don't have any recent experience of using them. But like, especially the World War I battle cruisers, so Von der Tann and the HMS Invincible are really susceptible to just normal heavy cruiser fire. I think if this salvo doesn't finish it off, I should be shooting the front, but I think it should be sinking. But it's going to be sinking slow because he's stationary. The next one will be near the front turrets. Yep. I need to check which one the Anton Schmidt is, but I think is that Sub 22. Well, Barney, you say that, but we do actually have some armored cruisers, and they're not the most fun. We've got 2, the Ikoma and Kurama. Yeah, like most of the German destroyers are pretty much the same thing. I like Z-15 the most because of the many 37mm anti-aircraft guns. But I need to check out what all their names are, but Z-22 is more of the same. What farming AI destroyers and cruisers doesn't do for your damage numbers. But I'm not gonna complain. Yep. What did I get a critical hit on? Okay, the Iron Duke is still singing our convoy, but we do still have the ticket advantage for 30 more seconds. With a bit of luck, the Iron Duke might actually not be able to reload in time. No, that's fine. The thing about armored cruisers, I've been playing Ikoma recently to finally unlock Haguro, which I have, and to just grind camos for it. And not having accurate rangefinders is a real pain to deal with, especially if you're facing targets that do have accurate rangefinders and much higher rate of fires. There we go. Ooh, metal. Okay. And some more missions done. That was a really good first match in the ship. There we go. And then I'll get shrapnel protection next, I think, and then ventilation. Okay, I don't actually know myself because I don't have that many German planes. Oh, but is this the one that gets a really big bomb? It is, but I don't know what the flight performance is like. For naval cats, there's the general rule of thumb is something small, nimble, fast, and with a really big bomb. If you're going in for like real close air support. like, with the priorities definitely being on speed and agility. So it can, like, for example, one of my favorite Japanese planes is the P1Y1 to use. It's big, but it's fast, like really fast for what kind of plane it is. So it can, and also the low BR does help, so it can dip into anti-air range, drop the bomb, and immediately fly away. I have actually used the Italian BF-109, that Battle Pass one, the F4, and a 250 kilogram bomb can do some good work with it. But yeah, fighter bombers are more than fine for naval. You just have to pick them, whichever you prefer. What was I going to say again? I was going to say something about kinetic damage and something else, but I've forgotten. Yeah, it's Hungarian, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm going to look at this to showcase. Come on, where was it again? Alwyn. Torpedo depth as well, yes, I'll show that was the one I was going to showcase, thank you. I'll do that as well. So, let's neutralize this camera. There we go. So, for example, these green boxes here, right, are crew boxes. If your shell is big enough and does enough kinetic damage, just hitting that box will outright destroy it. So even if you were to fire a 16-inch AP shell at this thing, let me actually show you, because I can. Let's take Blue Water Fleet, let's go to Japan, let's go to rank 5. Or is it rank 6 now? It isn't yet Mutsu. We'll take the number 5 AP. We'll shoot. So the shell goes clean through the ship, but it destroys the crew compartment anyways. So as long as you're like directly hitting what the thing you want to destroy with a large enough shell, even if it does overpen, it doesn't really matter. As long as you get a direct hit. It does mean that, of course, you can't splash damage nearby components, like you would be able to with SAP, with smaller AP shells and stuff like that. But you can't really go wrong with large caliber AP either. And now torpedo depth. The thing I usually showcase it with is Kronstadt. So, for example, Kronstadt. It's armored belt, 230 millimeters, right? And that, of course, if you go 1 meter, you'll hit the belt. If you go 4 meter, you should be hitting below the belt. And why is it important? I'll show you. Let's go to Japan, because they have some of the best, if not biggest, torpedoes. We'll go to Shimakaze, and we'll go to the torpedoes. So you see, almost 1,000 kilograms of TNT equivalent. The thing is, how TNT works in this game and torpedoes work, is that the explosive filler has a certain penetration value. So almost 1,000 kilograms, remember that? I think if I even go to this plane, I should be able to see it. So here we go. This is 1,000 kilograms of TNT. So almost, it's actually a little bit more than one of the biggest torpedoes in game. And look at the armor penetration. 151 millimeters. Meaning that if a long lance at 1 meter depth, so Shimakaze torpedo at 1 meter depth, were to hit the armored belt of a Kronstadt, which isn't even the thickest belt in game, it will do literally nothing, because the torpedo just cannot pen that armor. But if you set it to 4 meter depth, it'll go below that armor belt and do pretty much full damage. So that is why, for most cruisers, because their belt is not that big or that thick, 1 meter depth will work. But against some heavy cruisers, you could also use 4 meter depth because that'll hit. Against battleships, you always have to use 4 meter depth. That is also one of the reasons why airdrop torpedoes don't work. Not against battleships, at least. Because airdrop torpedoes, I don't think if it's a stat, but there you see, airdrop torpedoes travel at 1 meter depth. So even if it is an alright torpedo, they just don't do anything to battleships because they do not go below their belt. What about Liverpool? What about Liverpool? What do you want me to check about it? The belt or the torpedoes? So torpedoes, it has belt armor. Let me show you the belt armor on Liverpool. Customization, protection, there we go. So 114 millimeters. But as you, like, look, I know that the waterline can be a bit difficult to spot in the extra view, but where my cursor point is, I think that's the waterline. So the belt doesn't extend that deep below the waterline either. But it's also, I don't actually know what the scaling is, like what is 1 meter deep. I would love if there was some kind of marker, like some kind of line going around to show you what is 1 meter or 4 meter deep. But oh well. I'm not entirely sure if a torpedo were to hit here, if it would splash above, like the main armor belt. Like this box for the ammunition. If it would go through the roof or have to go through the side. I'm not entirely sure on that. But yeah, back to the Tann. I'm not quite that... I would need to actually do an upload schedule for that first. But I do have some things planned in soonish. Because I've got a 2-week holiday coming up. So a lot more free time. Anyways, I'm back to Spading Tann. I'm trying to think. I'm starting to reach a little bit of a dilemma when it comes to my streaming, because for most of my nations, I'm getting to battleship grinding. So either I do nothing but battleships for the next few weeks, or I throw some coastal ones in there as well. I could also just play some cruisers for fun, but then what cruisers? Oh boy, the newly ruined Fuego Islands. I'll try and go around. I am also still planning to make a video on the update and what it did to Naval, but that has been delayed due to various reasons. Mainly procrastination, but oh well. Not necessarily. When it comes to RP gaining, like actually grinding RP, I prefer realistic, but if you play arcade, it's literally the same RP modifiers. So playing arcade or realistic will get you a new ship just as fast, as long as you're performing similarly. When it comes to enduring confrontation, I am not too sure, because I personally don't like enduring confrontation that much. I think it's kind of flawed in its execution. But I don't think it is worth grinding it either. Mainly due to matchmaking reasons rather than anything else, and battle ranges and queue times and I don't know. But if you like playing EC more, then go for it. The best way to grind is by just playing what you like. Well, the reason I believe EC is flawed is the way the spawning works. I personally am not the biggest fan of spawn points. And I believe that EC basically boils down to whichever team spawns the battleships first and the most wins. I think I had a match a few months back where I spent 5 minutes in a gearing or a Frank Knox, got enough spawn points to spawn in Alaska, and then continued to spawn the Alaska for the next 2.5 hours. And because I got into Alaska 5 minutes into the match, I just farmed like 5.0 and 4.7 ships. Which I can imagine is not that much fun for the 4.7 or 5.0 ship. I think I do have channel manager. membership set up, but first of all, it doesn't actually do anything yet. I have it if you want to support me, but I don't actually have anything set up for monetization either. Like, you don't have to support me monetarily at all. This is not my job, I'm not planning to make this my job. And I have a job otherwise. And it doesn't do anything special yet either. I might have to look into that, but it's quite a lot of work. I'm in cover. So now we'll just repair everything again. This is decent matchmaking. Or is 6.3 ship? Oh, we have... Well, hello there, Trick. The most feared man on a laptop. This guy, I know him personally, kind of. I've spoken to him quite a lot, and he is, his Blagorodny stats are disgusting, as you might be able to see. So I'm very happy to be on his team rather than opposing team. That is acceptable, because that's practically what I'm doing it now as well. I'm just playing Wonder Tann. By the time I die, I spawn a backup, and by the time I die a second time, the game's usually over. At least that's the case for battleships especially. Prince Oig... I mean... Yes, but also... The thing I have with a lot of those premium ships is that they're just premium versions of tech-free ships. Like, you can just get the Admiral Hipper and it's just the same ship. So what I did there was shoot his torpedoes first so he couldn't launch them at me. Now we're gonna shoot his engines. Although most of the shells hit water, there's a Kirova behind there, but that's not my biggest threat. Torpedoes on the way. I think I should be fine. That torpedo angle looks very strange because it's aimed directly at me and not ahead of me. But let's just disable that launcher again. Like, I'd say... The thing is, when it comes to German premiums, the Eugen is probably your best choice. Because other than that you have Karlsruhe, I believe. Which is not that great. A bit more fragile than even Eugen. Then you have the... Nassau, I believe, which premium battleships I don't recommend to begin with. Like, Eugen could be worth it if you can still get it. It's very difficult because I can't see those torpedo trails anymore, but I don't think any of those torpedoes should be hitting me. And if they do, they do. Aiming for the front rack and getting a hit. Oh, consoles are still always available. I mean, yeah, if you have the money for it and if you want it, sure. Like, I am definitely not going to be the person that's going to question somebody's purchasing decisions. Well, this stream they have. I've been hearing people say that I have a decent voice for that kind of stuff, but yeah. Maybe that should be an April Fool's video idea for next year. Just some kind of naval narration. Okay, so that's is going down. Do we have anything else we can shoot, or we should be shooting? Oh, that guy's actually sunk. Perfect. Okay. Liverpool and a downs are so much fun. I mean, I'm personally not a fan of EC, but I can enjoy it every now and then. Especially playing with a group of friends, EC can be a nice change of pace. But there's just things I don't like about it. One of my biggest gripes is definitely the way that like respawns work on ports when you're trying to attack one. Because in that same match where I was playing the Alaska that I was mentioning earlier, I got another teammate in Alaska trying to attack a port. And it was just us two attacking a port, and the same guy in a Sendai spawning over and over and over again. And eventually we both got torpedoed, because that's what happens when a torpedo cruiser just spawns over and over and over again. So personally I'd prefer some kind of like respawn timer or limit on when ports get attacked. It is. I think it's currently full, but I might just remove somebody who hasn't been active in a while. Or there might still be a gap from people who are left, but it is always open for applications. There are no real requirements to my squadron either. Other than playing a bit of naval. I kind of don't want to ruin the Aoba's day, but at the same time it is just a target sitting there. And he is doing stuff to my team. That is too much lead, because I was traveling in the same direction. You know what, let's go for the Des Moines instead. The Des Moines is a funny ship to try and shoot. And technically speaking, the same battle rating as my boat as well. So therefore, fair game. I shot short. A little bit annoying. He's sailing away from me at quite an angle, that's why. That might be decent, a bit too far and too low still. I really want to deal with this Des Moines because it is not that damaged. At the same time, shooting for its front is a bit useless, especially since I can't get consistent hits. So let's shoot for the middle / rear of it, and maybe deal with some of these closer targets anyways. And the Des Moines got dealt with by Trick, as is to be expected. Don't want to use the 11-inch guns on that destroyer, so let's use them on the Aoba instead. That should be a good hit. A bit too far behind. He is flooding severely from the front. It looks like he might have eaten a torpedo. Actually no, his crew is incredibly low. There he goes. It is indeed my buddy Trickster that has been capturing points, winning us the game. I'm starting to run low on targets, so why not maybe shoot that Nassau? And that, by the way, is actually a trick I do as well. You see my little impact indicator going up and down their ship? That means I've actually gotten their accurate range, which in this case is around about 70. Because you see all of a sudden, oop, it goes long. Actually, it's showing down the bridge is a bit easier. Like it'll scroll up on the bridge, then it will suddenly go over. So that, right there, is the accurate range to target. Because the rangefinder is not always to be trusted. And I still shot low. Come on. There it is. And that might be my last salvo of this match, with how fast the tickets are going. Yeah, it's just this way you know the actual range to target, if you don't trust your range indicator. It also helps, especially at very long range, although adjusting for it can be a bit difficult then. And there we go, got the camo for Van der Tann, got another task done. Almost got shrapnel protection. And we'll keep going. Actually, let me just check my squadron. It is full, but as you might be able to see, there are quite a few inactive members in there. I'll have to see about perhaps removing a few if people want to join. You shouldn't be fighting 5-7s in a furrow. Unless you've got a 4-7 in there somewhere. Yeah, even 5-3 cruisers can be quite scary. The Atlanta resides there after all. Yeah, after Z15, a lot of these destroyers are practically the same. Well, Z12, 22 and 43, I think. African Gulf can be a bit rough for these battleships, especially if it's an up tier. Which it is, although that's just 6-7 for the time being, but I doubt it'll just be 6-7. Okay, Van der Tann, Iron Duke. And there is 7-0, a with a Byron and a Fusil. There's our Mississippi. That is a Ise. And that's probably the only target I'll actually be able to damage. But this is going to get rough. Where's it, Harna? On my left, which might be a bit of a problem. There is a Pittsburgh in there, but the Pittsburgh is not the biggest threat to me, so I'll just ignore it. I'll try and deal with this German battleship. Oop, there we go. You see my cursor moving up there? So let's aim a little bit low, because he is closing distance. And that's just a fire on the bow gun. That's fine. Good first hits, a little bit forward than where I wanted it to be. The queue isn't that long. And my streams are living proof that the queues are not that long. They can be kind of lengthy though from time to time. I seem to have received a big hit on the front, so let's deal with flooding. And that was better, but a bit too high. His range is actually roughly 66. I've lost a turret, but that's fine for now. I'm kind of using the Iron Duke as a meat shield, but at the same time anything that goes over him hits me. So let's maybe try and open the distance a little bit. You should be out of the way of that Hardener. Shot short on that German battleship. He's sailing parallel to us, roughly, but we are slightly going away from him. So we should be aiming a little bit higher. What is his range? Oh. I think I have it there-ish. He's turning in, so let's aim a bit low again. And see what happens. With these kind of spawn-to-spawn battles, you're just shooting for whatever damage you can do. At least in these early ships. I say early, I mean early battleships. I don't think I actually have the pen to deal with him. Not at this kind of range and angle. So let's maybe deal with the cruisers instead. Like that, although it's a bit cruel to go after cruisers. There's an enemy from the Tann. There's an SKR about to get into cap, so let's deal with that. I just have about that much lead, but I think that could be... Never mind. Our Kaiser dealt with him. Would have been an alright lead. Pittsburgh is not having a great time. My goal is to get behind that island as quick as possible. Somebody has their eyes on me, and it is of course a German dreadnought I've been shooting. Which makes sense. So let's not piss off any of the other battleships and just keep shooting him. That was a decent hit. The actual range is roughly 8 kilometers. Closing rate is not that great. Taking a lot of damage, but that is just what's gonna happen. That's an unrepairable breach, is it? That's not great. I'm gonna angle away a little bit more. Oh boy. There is indeed a permanent flooding in that whole segment, and it's gonna flood my engine, so let's crawl to a, well, crawl. And dampen that flooding a little bit, or try to actually. Let's slow down even more aggressively. Because it's very possible that that flooding might actually sink me. So we want to go slow. There we go, slow enough. Seems I'm not the only thing shooting at this dreadnought, at least. Grind for what? Like actually grind to this? Or grind, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, yeah, the first German cruiser, you're talking about the Albing, right? Or the Emden? Because the Albing is a bit of a... I don't know what to prove the word for this, but maybe a noob trap? It's a bit of a... Yeah, the Albing is not great. You know what? I think I'll just go full speed now anyways. I'd rather think I don't. I could have done without that flash fire, to be honest. Did I lose ammo in that section? Doesn't look like it. But I'm not doing great. At least my ship isn't. Buoyancy is critical. I also had critical flooding in the front section. Oh, that's not great. There goes my engine room. Yeah, exactly. But you can kind of say the same of a lot of the early cruisers, that they just don't work against other cruisers. The thing is, if I go behind that island now, there's actually no guarantee I'll stay afloat to reach the other side of it. I'm going to stick to the front of that island and just do as much damage as I can in the sinking ship. He was turning in as soon as the lead indicator was calculated, so the lead calculator was wrong when I fired. But I adjusted and it's fine now. Riding a little bit low in the water, I think. But fine. For now. Okay, flooding should be stabilized now. So I am still alive, but only with half of my engines. I've had worse. Yes, to a certain extent. It depends on what you're... I'm trying to think of an example of actual flanking. It does work. You can get around ships. Oh, but like, what situations would you like really use that? It's something I haven't done in a long time, that's for sure. But like the Albing's AP? Or this thing's AP? That Fuso is actually pretty low health. And with my hull this low in the water, I'm actually kind of difficult for him to hit. I mean, the Albing's AP, I need to check those rounds again, because I know there's one round I use and one round I just don't. But I need to check which was which again. Come on, Iron Duke, make it to Bravo. Okay, that fire I could have done without. And now there's a second Fuso. Yeah, I think I got the sneaking suspicion my Wonder Tann is going to stay afloat for too much longer. Actually, what happened to our other... I'm guessing the Fuso is behind... Yeah, it's behind the island, so it's covered from the other battleships. Somehow I'm still afloat too. Yeah, my shells just cannot pen the belt of a Fuso. What did you get hit by to just sink? Ah, he lost his ammo. That is... It's kind of weird to try and, like, say how you don't get focused. You make yourself an unattractive target, or a non-threatening target. Like, first of all, my ship is just not that big of a threat when it comes to 7-0 battles, but I am a somewhat easy kill. So I just make myself a non-easy kill, which in this case has just been pure luck because of the flooding, making my hull next to unhittable. But another way to make... What might sound weird, a way to make people not shoot you is by not shooting back. Because, for example, that Fuso now got into cover because he's probably getting shot by other people. But if I were to shoot this Baden, he would immediately shoot back, because I am shooting him. Because the first thing you should do is shoot whatever is shooting you, because they're a threat to you. So if you don't pose a threat to people, or you don't make yourself obviously a target to people, they just don't shoot you. So that's why, if I were in a ship with bigger guns, I would have shot the Baden, because the Baden does actually have some vulnerabilities. Actually, it's pretty low. And there's not many other ships out here that are a real threat to me, other than like that dreadnought, but he's probably preoccupied. So at this point, I could probably shoot the Baden. And then you have to bet, can I defeat the Baden before it defeats me? And I get the feeling I might have bet wrong, but I'm about to get into cover. So even if he was tempted to shoot back at me, he won't be able to. That cruiser's not my problem. Like, part of not getting shot or not being a target is down to luck. Another part of it is just making yourself not a target. Us losing C is a bit suboptimal. And A especially as well. That's a hipper. And it's definitely a target I have to shoot at. And there's more cruisers. Do we have many battleships left? We do. So it's not really my responsibility to fight other battleships at the moment. I should just be killing whatever I can kill at this point. But I do need to keep a close eye on... There, what was that? Oh, it's a float plane that's capturing C. Okay. That actually makes me... Hold on. Where is it? The boat I spotted earlier is now out of my sights, of course. So what I'm trying to do now is just go get B. But I get the feeling I won't reach it. Not before the tickets bleed out. Is that a player? That is a player. And there we go. Ah. Now I do need to shoot the Baden. Because whilst he is not dealing with me, it is just a question of time when he spots me and then starts shooting me. And he's kind of low health, so I really need to deal with him. What I'm going to do is try to shoot his upper belt, to try and deal some crew damage. But I don't seem to be able to do that. There's going to be a problem. I could actually try and shoot his turrets rather than his belt, because knocking those out does crew damage, and that is enough to start the permanent flooding on him. He still hasn't decided to target me, which means I am free to disassemble him. There we go. The third fire took him out. Again, that was mostly luck rather than anything else, because he just decided to never shoot me for some reason. Come on. Surely I can make it to B.
Attack the B point.
Yeah, yeah. A threat in any kind of spare buoyancy, apparently. Okay, I need to cancel repairs to deal with the turret fire, because turret fires are always dangerous. Enemy has captured C, which is very much suboptimal. That means our allies have to decap A in order if we still want to win this. Losing another turret, but I think my next salvo might finish off this hipper. Fire is also out, so let's repair. My guns hit too far in the back. I see torpedoes on the way from the hipper, which might be a serious threat. Call out for an enemy coastal vessel, but I will ignore it for the time being. I need to deal with the hipper. Okay. And there we go. Where's the boat? Nowhere to be seen. God, what I wouldn't do for more engines at this point. It's a bit of an awkward angle to try and shoot him because he's continuously moving into cover, so if I want to lead him, I'll just shoot the island. There's an enemy Scharnhorst, hey boy. Come on, make it into the gap. There's the boat. I have secondary guns that can still shoot him. There we go. Yeah, I know I'll be dangerously low depth, and with my bow that low I might actually beach before getting my ship into the line of the cap, but I should be fine. There we go, capturing B. But it is, I believe, way too late for us to actually win this match. But I will gladly take the extra research points.
The Allied forces have captured a zone.
And why am I constantly repairing? Oh, is it like constantly repairing my secondaries which are flooding again? I mean, even before the Flagstaff event, Coastal is getting more and more populated again, which is very neat. Oh, Flagstaff event and Battle Pass. We did our best, but they had a coastal vessel capturing so yeah. I'll try and make my way over to sea, but I'm definitely not reaching it in time. Let's mess with the Setsu, I guess.
The enemy is winning.
Yeah, that is the thing that I have been seeing with the Flagstaff a lot more people actually getting into Coastal, which is always a good thing. I mean, yeah. That is a player light cruiser, okay. There we go. Yep, and I'm about to get straight by a plane. I've got the feeling that as well, Cringe. I must admit that I was playing a lot of American Coastal recently and was earning a decent amount of SL. There we go, and immediately being able to get ventilation, that's even better. Let's go for auxiliary targeting. And there we go. Getting very close to Helgoland. And we keep going. Also, Barney, do you not have a British 15-inch yet? Because they're not all they're cracked up to be, but at the same time, they're kind of fun. RP, or you mean SL? Is this a down tier I'm seeing? So, that's decent for tactical ships. A hood. Okay, this is not a down tier. What darn shimakaze are bringing up my hope. I think that's probably something I need to play next week, is my British ships, because I do have a new battleship now. I still need to get my hands on. Well, battle cruiser. Ooh, a Russian dreadnought. You don't see too many of those anymore. That's Nevada. It's a bit scarier. Yeah, Queen Mary. I haven't even gotten a single research point into it yet. Guess I'll be playing the meat shield for the hood for the time being. No other enemy battleships yet though, other than the Nevada and the... Oh, which one is it with the massive bow crane thing? Is it Maria or Poltava? I can never remember. I splashed the magazine with that salvo? Okay, let's just keep aiming there. I don't know. As a destroyer map, Fuego Islands has just gone down to shitter. Even cruisers are not fun because you spawn even closer as cruisers. Going way over. Let's see, okay, this actual range is around about 180. Let's aim a bit low. There we go. Maybe start repairing the turret again. And just continue to take more punishment. Ouch. those are a bit too low. I'm never good at calculating how much I have to undershoot them by. I lost the same turret again. That keybind is controls. It is naval. This one. So in camera control, mouse wheel, distance correction. And then it's just literally scrolling my mouse wheel is what I'm doing. Oh look, I'm flooding again. But this time it shouldn't be permanent yet. So let's try and get that water out of me. If it can't be a mouse wheel, it is... You can put it on something else. Where is it? Where is it again? This one. Here, distance correction. If you click on it, you can then set buttons to increase and decrease it. And then you just fiddle around with the sensitivities at your own leisure.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
I'd really like it that Hood were to just hit something, please. But I think it's... What is it actually shooting? Is it shooting at cruisers? I'm missing. Poor Hood. Okay, there it is. Okay, there's a coastal vessel 5 kilometers ahead of me. Or so it says.
Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Nothing visible yet. Ouch. Come on. I really can't wait until I get the 12-inch gun German battleships. Because these 11-inch guns do just lack a little bit of the pen to get into most other battleships effectively. That or I'm just incredibly crap with them. There goes that wing turret again. Also, one of the recent changes they made is where they remove coal bunkers from the X-ray view. But I just no longer know if they actually still have their coal bunker protection or not. But let's stop shooting at that Russian dreadnought for a little bit. And shoot at stuff I can actually damage. Go. I mean, no. It's just I don't really particularly use aircraft all that much in naval. And I don't use coastals all that much either. So they're just in that lineup. Just because I mostly haven't bothered to remove them. It depends. The thing about Bismarck is, I think it has a similar armor scheme to Scharnhorst. But if it rides higher in the water, it might not be as tanky. And also, the thing about Scharnhorst, right, it is tanky. But you just have to shoot it. The reason, like, Scharnhorst is difficult to kill, sure, but the reason why it's survives for so long is because nobody ever shoots at one. Like when I was grinding Mutsu when that came out, I was using the Ise a lot. And I found that if you just repeatedly shoot a Scharnhorst over and over again, you will kill it. Pretty like reliably and somewhat easily. It'll take some time. I think in one of my matches I killed the same Scharnhorst twice, but it did take me 5 minutes each time. But it is possible, you just have to shoot them over and over again. Because surprise surprise, their crew compartments are not in their citadel. And if you shoot their turrets over and over again, that'll bleed crew eventually. God, what is shooting me now? It's that one, isn't it? I get a feeling that if I get into a close range brawl with that Russian battleship, I'm not going to survive. Seeing as I'm already not. I might actually want to just stay here for the time being. I mean, The way I grind stuff is just by spading everything, fully upgrading everything. Whether I do that in a lineup or not doesn't really matter. Yes, Von der Tann is a battle cruiser. I just have the tendency to keep calling everything a battleship because meh, the difference is not that important. Okay. That's a bit close for comfort there. Let's just fire some single guns because I don't want to use all my shells. There we go. Ooh boy, are those both players? No, just at New Orleans is. And I'm dead. But I'm gonna try and take the New Orleans with me. I'm not gonna be able to reload before my flooding goes. Come on, please. Please. Nope, not gonna happen. Damn. Well, backup it is. Yeah. Yeah, low crew is a thing. I'm fine with it. What I'm not fine with is that. Battleship, move. You're a battleship. You're supposed to take damage. The Mogami not moving out of spawn I can kind of understand because it's a Mogami. But he did just kill a Poltava with its guns, I think. Might have been torpedoes. Also, didn't I just unlock a camo for this in last battle? I need to equip that. Yeah, exactly. And it is an AI. I sure hope so. Because what I'd love to see is just 7-3 or 7-7 ideally. Just so that the top-end cruisers can get a bit of, you know, breathing room from the top-tier battleships. It was way behind them. I get a distinct feeling this match is going to be lost as well. But we'll just continue killing whatever we can.
The Allied forces have captured a zone.
Admiral Hipper is alright. I remember liking it when I spaded it. It's just that it has a somewhat vulnerable magazine. And it's well-known vulnerability as well, so people will exploit it whenever they can. But if you don't get detonated, it is a solid heavy cruiser. Yamato is not going to be that high of a battle rating. I hardly see... Like, the thing you have to consider is that we're already at the early 16-inch battleships. The jump from Mutsu to Yamato is not going to be like 3 or 4 BRs. And personally, I do not see... I don't see like stuff like Yamato going higher than 9.0. And that is even if you were to decompress the entire tree, I don't see it going higher than 9.0. What's in C? That's in C. No, it's no longer on C, but it was on C. Don't think so. Again, that's also one of the reasons why they want to get separate BRs for like all the modes. So I genuinely, like, they can just literally move all the jets to 10.0 for naval, because it doesn't matter what BR they are for naval, as long as it makes sense for the ships. But I get the feeling they won't be that drastic anytime soon. That is not where I want to see a Nevada. Like at all. Yep. I'm not too familiar on Grounderby, so I can't really vouch for how effective that BR change is. But I think the BR stuff for naval is a lot more drastic than it is for ground. Well, I don't know. I'm not that great in thinking of what should be balanced and what shouldn't be. But as a general rule of thumb, we shouldn't be getting too much more modern aircraft than we currently have. Even currently, jets are a real pain to deal with. Speaking of, well, yeah, technically we do indeed have some modern-ish ships. But I think when we get to like the actual missile destroyers and cruisers, that'll be something. The F-80 did actually get shot down, and I don't think it actually got a kill, did it? No. Nope. I think at this point let's just do as much damage as I can before the match is over. Yeah, probably. Although the interesting thing about anti-ship missiles is that they don't actually work against armor, most of them at least. So like the heavily armored battleships like Yamato probably won't actually be all that, well, Yamato, Iowas, whatever, probably won't be that bothered by anti-ship missiles, depending on the kind of missile. Dealing with the hood. That's a weird one, because you don't really see hood all that often. Oh, one way to annoy it is just constantly shoot at its bridge. Was I going to check something here in the hangar whilst I was here? I get the feeling I was, but I forgot what it is. Actually, let me look on my British tree for the time being. Yeah, I need to do Queen Mary, but that's a lot of British battleships I still could do. Hood. Let me check. Modifications, I want to see the customization. Let's go to armor, protection analysis, armor. And just shoot it anywhere. That's what I wanted. Where is the... Yeah, just shoot the upper hull. Crew kill it, because you're never going to hit the magazine. You just have to crew kill a hood. Unless you have big enough guns where you might splash the ammo. Just crew kill them. But again, you can just annoy the ever-loving hell out of it by shooting the bridge. Because it doesn't have any roof. Well, it has roof armor, but it's not the greatest. Anyways, another match of Tann, and I think possibly the last one before I get the Helgoland. And then after that, one more ship and I'll actually be able to test sail the Scharnhorst. And actually research it as well. It's gonna be it's kind of the most expensive one, but it's definitely one I should research first. Seeing as I technically already have one of the Byrons. Well, I do really want to get the Scharn because it is a unique ship in game in terms of battleships, and I really just want to get it. I want to know what all the hype is about when it comes to it. But that's going to be for another few weeks, I think. Although if I really grind for it, I might get it next week. But I don't think I will. It'll drive me slightly nuts, I think. No, but I'll definitely be able to get... If I really grind now, I should be able to get Scharnhorst in this month somewhere. I mean, would you? When it comes to battleships? The thing I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with it, but me and my buddies have a bit of a joke when it comes to me and ships. You see, I am cursed. Because I'm a Japanese main, I have this curse where any ship that's good or meta, I just blatantly don't like. And any ship that is shit in the meta, I kind of like. This has been a trend with me and my boats. And I kind of hope it isn't going to be the trend with Scharnhorst. Because I do want to like Scharnhorst. But I get the feeling that, like, I'm kind of used to Japanese 14-inch and somewhat the 16-inch guns in terms of firepower. I get the feeling I'll be underwhelmed by the 11-inch guns. But we'll have to find out. Sean does look incredible. Like, I really, really want to get the American fast battleships. The, what is it? North Dakota? The, well, you know, the Iowa class, the North Dakota, or is it South Dakota? It's South Dakota, isn't it? But those fast battleships, because they look really damn good as well. Like, Alaska is a really good looking ship, but it's a bit of a powder keg. North Carolina, that's the one, thank you. Oh, this map again? Oh boy. Yeah, this is South Dakota. We have a North Dakota, that's like the early dreadnought. It's South Dakota, but North Carolina. I mean, yeah. Ritaka is a good site for me. That is less of a good site, though. A three-man squad with varying BRs. Actually, no, this looks pretty good. I don't like being the only, like, capital ship on my team. That is a name I'm familiar with, but not in a good way. So, well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what battleships would be meta. Because a lot of battleship meta comes down to, like, fire rate and general survivability. As soon as you have an ammo rack that's above the waterline, it's not going to be a meta ship. As soon as your reload is not like the standard 30 seconds, not going to be meta. I think, however, I'm not entirely sure what their speed is again on those ships, but I do like my fast capital ships. 33 knots. That's, I'm not sure what it is in kph, but it is relative. That's good. It's fast. Speed enough. It's times 1.8. Actually, that's pretty easy to calculate. Let me get my calculator up. 33 times 1.8. Yeah, that's fast. That's almost 60 kph. That is nice for a battleship. A Zara class, an Atlanta, and no capital ships. And an Eugen behind the Zara. You know, because I want to, I'm going to shoot the Atlanta first. I mean, the thing is, the Soviets will almost certainly get Soyuz, the Sovietsky Soyuz. Because we're pretty sure that we're going to get project ships. Like, we're almost pretty sure that the Germans are going to get the H-39 as well. Which is just Bismarck with 16-inch guns, but no well. Like, I would be pretty confident in saying that we'll get Soyuz. Eventually. I have gotten the ire of the Atlanta and he's now going to go behind Nylands, so I can't hit him. Kind of. Well, luckily for me that 5-inch guns aren't really that big of a threat to me, so I don't care if the Atlanta shoots me. Oh yeah, like they'd be cool. I don't particularly care for German capital ship design. I think it's a bit my style. As I said, I am a Japanese main, so if it doesn't have a pagoda mast, it is not my style. Now, the battleships I'm really looking forward to getting are the Nelson and the King George V for Britain. Because I think those will be extremely cool. Straddle them. Or again, just testing fate. I am moving to the right, so I need to adjust left, even if it is a stationary target. Their shells looking decent. And they were. There goes the detonation. I wasn't really aiming for the rear rack, I was actually aiming for the front rack, but that works out. I mean, yeah, but I've grown fond of the Nelsons because just 9 16-inch guns all on the front. It looks so... It's so weird looking, but I love weird ships. I wouldn't be surprised if we were to get the Yamagi/Tosa. Not that they really offer that much more, it's just 10 gun instead of 8 gun. But they're cool looking, I guess. Sadly, like, there's 2 Japanese battleships I'd love to see, but we will never get them because they didn't even start construction. But they were semi-realistic plans. But we'll just never get them. And that saddens me. That Atlanta is starting to annoy me, so what we do is we shoot back. He's gonna run behind the island again. Fine by me. Again, because he isn't actually really damaging me. Also third. That's... happens. And I detonated the Abruzzi behind the Atlanta. By shooting the Atlanta. Always lovely. Like, you know, the stuff I would like to see for Japan would be the number 13 class battleship and the B-65 battlecruiser. But I already know we will never see either of them, because neither of them ever saw, like, construction. Okay, why? That's a Nuremberg, that's why it's such a high rate of fire. Yep, there goes another turret. I don't know most of those designs, to be honest. I'm as much as I like my boats in this game, I'm not actually all that tuned into naval history, even though I really should be a bit more. I know some of my wacky Japanese ship designs, but I don't actually know that much of naval history. Yeah, but number 13 carries 18-inch guns. It's like a Nagato layout, 4 turrets. 4 twin turrets, but 18-inch guns on a 1920s battleship hull. Which, in my opinion, would be a nice little like in between the Tosa and Kaga and Yamato, but we'll never get it because it never started construction. I'm pretty sure we'll get an H-class at least. No boats. You're not getting the sea point. Really, Atlanta? Like, the thing I don't understand is why are you using a 5-inch like spammer against Like, sure, I'm not the most armored, but I'm armored enough to resist 5-inch guns. Like, any other target, genuinely, I'm the only battlecruiser on my team. Any other target, Atlanta, and you'd be having a much better time. Yeah, past the devs doesn't mean much though, sadly. Because I think we've had a Yamato pass like a year ago, we had a New Jersey and Iowa class pass like 3 years ago. Pass to developers genuinely doesn't mean anything. So what that Atlanta is doing is something I would never recommend you do, and that is picking a fight with something you will not win against. So, I think Battle or 2 ago, I was talking about how to make yourself a target and not make yourself a target. This Atlanta is being annoying and making himself a target for me. And he has ran out of places to run to hide from me. So now I don't care about any other things anymore, because the Atlanta is annoying me. And at some point my guns will hit. And he keeps knocking at my turrets, because my turrets are not that well armored. That's not the biggest deal. He is juking my shots a little though, but eventually I'll sink him. Ooh, if you want to have a good laugh about battleship designs, look up Canada's 500,000 ton battleship and have yourself a giggle at an actual battleship design. Or well, design. More like a napkin drawing. But it was allegedly like an actual naval officer that thought of the idea of a 500,000 ton battleship. And it is wild. And the Atlanta is now going to be sinking. Have you looked it up? I mean, it is 500,000 tons. I'm not sure. I think the better question is, would Japan ever get enough steel to make that thing? So again, that Atlanta could have literally picked anybody else on my team as a better target than me. But nope, he had to try and fight the battlecruiser. And lost. So that is one of the rules when coming to make yourself not a target. Do not shoot at targets you cannot sink. Oh. Backboard, what side is it again? I think it's left, but it did.
Attention to the designated grid square. Him down.
The thing is, I think Canada's battleship was designed like before carriers were really all that practical yet. That is such a... I need to read up on how many 16-inch guns it is again, but it's a ludicrous amount. Nuremberg is picking a fight on me again. There goes another one of my turrets. Yak 9 is not a threat. It is such a... I love the weird and wacky ships, and Japan is full of them. Okay, battle. That should be Helgoland. Should be. I think. With a bit of luck. Fingers crossed. And there we go. New battleship acquired. I'll crew it later, because I first need to look at where my other 6 trees are located. Let's get the shell last, because I don't really care for the shell. There we go. Pardon me. Okay. Actually, I only have those two, don't I? That is an even better question, yes. So realistically, Helgoland should be crewed where Nuremberg currently is, because that is the weakest ship in the lineup. And there we go, another battleship. So von der Tann, I think I have another camo for you, don't I? Yes, we do. So let's go to that one, which looks pretty nifty. And on Helgoland, let's research the sap first immediately, because stock HE is always a pain. And I think that's it. I think I got like 3 or 4 more battles to spade von der Tann, so let's just continue doing that. Before I actually forget, I'll cancel the queue, because what I first need to do is level this crew up so I can put an expert crew on it. And what I always do to do that is just look for the cheapest crew skills possible and just level those. Do I have any other sub 100s? I do. There we go. Will I actually get to that level 40 though? That's the question. Yeah, just one more. Let's just do all of these. Distant fuse accuracy is also kind of interesting. Let's do fire extinguishing, and there we go. Then we go to qualifications, spend some as well, and then we got a +3 on practically everything anyways. And we will go. So I'm still going to first spawn von der Tann, but instead of spawning a backup when it sinks, I'll be spawning Helgoland. And we'll see how far we'll get with Kaiser. was about time before I actually saw one of these maps again. This is undoubtedly going to be a max up there to 7-0. So we'll just choose a spawn point and I'll just go with it. That is a Colossus. I don't really like to see because again I cannot actually deal with battleship with these guns. And I'm kind of the only one that spawned over here. Colossus seems to be prioritized on something else. That's a Renown. Kind of scary. Kind of not. I am not going to shoot it because I don't think I have the accuracy to hit its magazine. But I do think I have the pen to hit its magazine. So we'll leave that aside for now. And we'll just shoot at the cruiser. I'll wait for the lead indicator to pop up. That is not good. What are you? Is it a Scharnhorst? That is a Scharnhorst. Are you shooting me, not anybody else? But okay. I'm bow into him, so I'm not... Yeah, this is not gonna go well, is it? Also need to redo my lead indicator now. Well, let's shoot a pot shot then. The Arkansas immediately left, of course. That is me and a Marat. Oh boy. Oh no. Jesus. Okay. So what that means is that they have a Renown, a Scharnhorst, a Mutsu. And we have... and an Alaska. And we have no 7-0s. Yeah, this is defeat. I don't even need to. Yeah, no. Whatever I do, this will not be a victory. We do have a glorious, but that's not. I hope it can pull its weight. Glorious is indeed weird. A fun kind of weird. God, the Mutz is not moving into the cap, okay. I'm incredibly tempted actually. You know what? I'll try to shoot the Renown and see what happens. And at the same time I'll show another trick. So the lead indicator always shows the center of the ship, like where to aim to hit the center of it. So its magazine, compared to the center, is like 1 and a bit, like 1 1/3 notch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to aim a notch and a third in front of the ship, or in front of the lead indicator. I'll adjust for the range and hope I'll hit. And on the way. I'll see what happens. I think I might actually be heading behind because the impact indicator is dragging behind for some reason, yeah. Oh, one of those got actually really close. And it does seem like I'm panning. Alrighty, thank you Barney. And I'll be sure to have some more fun. The thing is, I have now gotten the attention of the Renown. So I now have to keep shooting it. Oh, come on. Impact indicator. Get a move on. Go. The Marat has also left, meaning it's just 2 cruisers and me. I get the distinct feeling that I'm going to be the only player left on my team at one point. And then, you know, because this is a lost match anyway, let's just show something else that's a bit neat. If I can actually stay alive long enough. So, a lot of the German dreadnoughts, I don't know if you have noticed it during the stream, have shell ejectors. Like, there's just shell casings popping out of the back of these turrets. And I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, there we go. We're now down. So let's see. Let's bring that again. Like, look at the rear turret. If it fires, there we go. Pop. There goes shell casings. And a lot of the German dreadnoughts, era battleships, capital ships have those. I'm not sure if any other nation's battleships have them. I need to check France again, because France might have them as well, but I'm not sure. What to shoot at? I'm mainly getting shot by AIs at the moment, so I'm actually not under that much battleship pressure. That Mutze still scares me though. The problem is all of these AIs are kind of out of my comfortable gun range. Crash base behind me. And that's a Scharnhorst slowly but surely closing in, and that's an Arizona. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, but no, the thing is what you have to consider, so that's a shell casing for an 11-inch gun. And the other guns have 12, well the other battleships like the Helgoland has 12-inch guns, and it also has shell casings, I believe. Although I think it's just the casing for the powder, and it's not like a one-piece ammunition. It's, I think, somebody told me about this already. But I think it's just like the last bag has a shell casing around it or something like that. To make a seal with the breech. Because German battleships have sliding breaches, whatever that mean. I'm not too sure about that. But it's something like that. It's just that the last charge has a casing to form a seal of the breach. I believe that's the reason. Could be entirely wrong. Again, I'm not actually that big on my naval history. I could just be ignorantly spreading misinformation. I need to keep my bow towards that Scharnhorst, because as soon as I turn broadside it'll just annihilate me. The 2 premium battleship players didn't even have backups, or didn't use one. But the goddamn German 5-7 player does. This is also one of the main reasons why I don't recommend buying premium battleships, because they are not forgiving. Oh, the Nassau doesn't have casings? I need to check that.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Keep shooting low. That's not good. I mean, looks is not a bad premium to have. Actually... Oh, no, that's also just that's the premium reserve destroyer, right, for Germany. But that does get the 128s, right? Because I'm sure there's one like that as well that gets 105s, and that's just not good. Yeah, the looks is not a bad destroyer. I quite like it. If it gets the 128s, like the factory one. Yeah, no, I know the T-22 gets, but there's an old, like, early days of naval German premium that also gets, is that hull, but has 105s. It's hidden from normal, from the normal factory, but I don't remember what its name is. Can I just sink this one cruiser, please? That's the one, Vader. Jaguar.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
And not enough free members to repair. And I haven't sunk the goddamn crib yet. Just sink, damn it. There we go. It is surprisingly tanky, yeah. But I was also just missing a lot of my ammo. For just discovery's sake, let's see if the Helgoland has the ejecting shells. It does. It has holes in the back of the turrets for shell ejections. Or casing ejections. I've forgotten to put my flag on his boat. "12-inch. These guns are 12-inch. It is just Westfalen and well, the battlecruiser von der Tann that don't have that have 11-inch guns. But the Kaiser and Helgoland have 12-inch. And they're long 12-inch as well. They're the 50 caliber ones. Yep. It should actually be decent. And what they also have is really good reloads for the for battleship guns.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Yep, there it goes. Injected shells. Out of the back of the turret. Come on. I think am I over panning with my HE? Oh, it's base fuse, that's why. Actually, base fuse HE stock is actually not that bad. Okay, that's good enough for cruisers, I'd say. Definitely doesn't do anything as battleships, but cruisers might do some damage too. Yep. Yeah, I mean, anti-frag wasn't a problem with SKR, but yeah.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
And that was a good old salvo. Definitely need to upgrade the traverse speed of these turrets. Quite slow compared to the 11-inch guns. Yep. I've gotten used to playing high explosive only destroyers, but it is definitely a very different type of ship you're playing if it only has HE. I mean, Moscow should have a problem as long as you fire sap. Which you should, by the way. You should always be firing sap out of destroyers. It's way more consistent. Yeah, it is a process of getting sap that can be quite painful. That's also one of the reasons why I really like the Japanese 14-inch battleships. They get stock sap, which is just, and it's Japanese 14-inch sap is pretty good as well. Like even against some of the earlier battleships. There we go. A bit of a disappointing match RP-wise, but that's to be expected of a full up tier like that. But I think, yeah, I'll leave the Helgeland out for later, and I'll just focus on Spading von der Tann, so I can shelve it. Also, I almost forgot again. I need to put the flag on there. There we go. Like, another reason why I do actually want to hurry up with my German grind is when Bismarck comes out, and if I won't be able to test sail it on a dev server when it comes out, I'm going to be annoyed at myself. And also I do kind of just want to complete all my tech trees. I am getting really close to actually having almost, like, just actually having all the blue water ships for all navies. Like, my American tech tree is complete. Britain is missing the Queen Mary, which is recently added. Japan is complete. France is missing its battleships. Russia is missing its battleships for me. Germany, as you can see, is just 4 more battleships. Italy is 2 more battleships. And then I have all blue water ships. Tech tree ones. Yeah, but that's for soon. I kind of added it. They added the it's definitely soon TM to get the entire tree. Japanese port again. Ugh. I mean, it's not the worst blue water map, really. Like Japanese port. I've been enjoying the PR68, yeah. I streamed those a few weeks ago. I think that was 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And they're fun. It's just that I don't... Again, I don't really like tech trees that are just the same cruiser, but like 4 times, just slightly different. Then again, I did like Britain, but oh well. I don't really have the greatest affinity with the Russian ships, I just don't particularly care about them. Small match, but that is not necessarily a good sign. Those are some very optimistic torpedoes from the Southampton. If anything, they're just going to run into me. Never let me, the friendly Tashkent. But let's slow down so the Tashkent can cut in front of me. And I'll cut it behind the Tashkent. And there we go. And now we'll stay on course. That is a AI Omaha, that is a Liverpool, not Liverpool, Southampton. None of those seem to be player ships. Neither is that. No enemy battleships to see just yet. So let's shoot at some cruisers first. There's a battleship. French one as well. And because we are the only battleship, it is our responsibility to deal with any enemy battleships, especially when it's a battleship we can actually deal with. Like, that's also another reason why I don't recommend premium battleships, is if you want to be like useful to your team, which you don't have to be if you want to just have fun, a battleship needs to step up to the plate to deal with enemy battleships, especially if they're the only one. Now, it is nice if your friendly cruisers do help out with dealing with the enemy battleship, but as a battleship player you are the main person responsible for dealing with enemy battleships. Helgoland is going to be significantly slower, but I don't actually know the speed difference. You do have to remember my Von der Tann is speed spaded, so it's 51 kph compared to the stock Helgoland 33. And that remind me that I have to check in the hangar what the speed difference is spaded. I'm gonna slow down because this AI destroyer is gonna cut in front of me. And I don't want my aim to be thrown off too much. Should be around there, shouldn't it? Or like the high 30s at least. I am doing a decent job at keeping that enemy battleships abreast. You know, personally on this map I actually usually go for the C point. But I found that these wing-mounted turrets on the 110 are a bit too awkward to effectively use on the C point. Is that I'm hoping other teammates will be going for C instead. This can't, okay. There's enemy coastals afoot on the and destroyers on B&A, so I need to deal with that at some point as well. We've got an AI Tashkent south of C, so they're not going to cap C. The Helena seems to not be interested in going to C either. Yeah. Ouch. Was it a PR-206 that just shot me? That sounded like those AK-230s hitting me at full pelt.
Enemy forces have captured that zone.
We're not gonna win. The ticket bleed's gonna go way too fast. And the Lorraine or Paris, whatever the French battleship is making it too difficult for me to deal with. Yeah, what is shooting me? And it is a PR-206, an AI-1. He's out of my gun battery range. I think I'll be able to lob a shell over that island. Especially the small ones. Turret is just barely out of firing angle. Uh, 5.7 knots. You're sure it's knots, not kph, right? Because that would mean 10 kilometers increase. So it would go 41. I'll check myself manually after this batch again, because it should be over pretty soon. This, by the way, is still why I'm not the greatest fan of people coastal capping. Just, it ends matches so soon, it's just no fun. Like, what are you doing winning this match this early? Then again, it's not necessarily a player's fault, but more map design fault, but still. We have an AI PR-206 around the A point, but it's not going to cap it anytime soon, is it? Annoyingly. AI gaming indeed. I'll believe the 10 point something then for the Helgeland. But I'll check in the hangar myself again. I mean, the Gaijin bots will actually capture points compared to the player ones. Yeah, game's over. All because this guy Captured 2 points. Did nothing. Why? Like, genuinely I am somewhat annoyed at people coastal capping in higher tier matches. Because what do you achieve with other than stat padding? I don't understand. And just ruining the match for everybody else because you ended prematurely. I was going to check the speed upgrades, wasn't I? So stock speed is 33, that goes up by 1, so 34. That is 35.7. That is 37.7 plus 0.4 is 38.1. 38.1 is kind of slow. 2.4, 1.7. That is indeed 4.1, and 1 is 5.1. Really? Is there any way you were looking at arcade stats, Magnum, instead of realistic ones, like on accident? $10,000 more RP to go before spading this thing. Okay, yeah, then that makes sense. But no, in realistic it'll only go 38.1 or something. What did I say again? .4, 1.7 is 4.1 plus 1 is 5.1. So yeah, it'll only go 38.1. Yeah. We'll make sure that, like, if you're looking at the tech tree like this, make sure that this isn't on auto select. If you're looking at stuff that isn't directly in your lineup. Or that is on auto select or on realistic battles or arcade battles, whatever you want to look at. Because I've had plenty of times where I put that on like arcade battles and then I look at something. Can I actually look at the ships that aren't in my lineup? Yeah. And then it'll show arcade stats, I think. So Nuremberg here is like 70. Well, if I put it in realistic, it is 60. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with playing arcade. It's just not my personal preference because I don't like how the ships feel, how fast everything is. Like, I cannot lead targets in arcade. You have to lead so much more in arcade than you have to do in realistic because of the higher speed differences. That and aircraft are an absolute scourge in arcade as well, so I'd rather not. So, I'll do the same thing as usual as last time. I'll just try and go behind that island group. Although I get spawned facing that way, don't I? I mean, yeah. Yep, so instead of turning all the way to the right, I'll just go for the central island. That is... nothing scary. Oh. That is something scary. I can kill the Alaska, I cannot kill the Fuso. I can kill the Alaska. Anything else scary? Not yet, not immediately. So my job will be trying to kill the Alaska as soon as possible. Ah, we already know what that guy's gonna be in. So expect Japanese torpedo mess. Or torpedo soup, rather. Actually, it's an easy hit, that's not him. But I saw a Haguro spawn. Yeah, there he is. There go my shells. They're a bit far... actually... they're a bit low. Or for the rear turret. Or well, the super firing turret. Yeah. But no, like Naval Arcade and Realistic are genuinely two completely different game modes. It's not that one is like easier than the other, they're just different completely. And there's also no real argument saying that one is like something you naturally progress to, because the research point earning in both game modes is the exact same for Naval. So there is no reason to progress from one to the other in terms of like needing to grind. I mean, the cell earnings are higher than Realistic, but I think you still make dosh in Naval Arcade if you really are good at it. So I have failed my mission to sink the Alaska. Now we'll try and repair my engines, or my funnels, and go to the island. I can see that, but I just do not have the like mental capacity to keep up with Arcade. Especially top tier jets. I'm already bad enough at jets to begin with, even Realistic. I need to stop the repair, and also Crunchshot, thank you very much for not respecting me. I'm not looking where you're going. Oop. That fire spread to the entire hull, that was not nice. I mean, there as long as the bombers have a bomb sight, you can use that. I have actually... There is a War Thunder YouTuber I have watched about Top Tier Arcade with an unpronounceable name, but I think you might know him as well. But yeah, it's an unpronounceable name, but I think you know him. I've watched some of his stuff as well. They're interesting. They're kind of interesting videos. You know, the thing is, I myself was an arcade player for a very long time, both air and ground. In some senses, I actually still prefer ground arcade over ground Realistic, but nah, it depends. Yeah, that guy. I do also agree that he's a bit too... a little bit cocky, but his content is nice, it's good. To a certain extent. I just find it interesting because there are no content creators that really play arcade, no big ones. And it's interesting to see like the difference in playstyle and the difference in metas. Especially because Air Arcade is also a vastly different game mode compared to Air Realistic, so it is very different playstyles and metas. Well, ground arc. The thing I've had with Ground Arcade is that Ground Arcade is a harder game mode to play light tanks in, or lightly armored vehicles in general, or open tops. Whereas Ground Realistic is a little bit more forgiving for those vehicles. Yeah. Like, that is something I sometimes struggle with when talking about naval with people, is that people never really talk about what game mode they play when they come into a naval chat or talk about certain ships. So you'll assume that you're talking about like the same game mode, whilst the two of you are talking about completely different game modes. That can be a bit rough. Let's take out the torpedoes on the Haguro. And then the engines. And we keep going. Keep a close eye on the torpedo launcher. I see it moving again, I think. Not quite, but I'll just shoot it again just to make sure. And we keep shooting it and we'll kill it, I think. You should not be able to repair anymore. Nope, torpedoes on the way. That's bad, that's bad. We'll shoot again, so you can not launch any more of them. There's a torpedo on the way. I need to keep reversing. That's what I need to keep doing. And try and get that lip of land in between me and it. There we go. The things I need to try and track the torpedo. Oh, there they are. There are some torpedoes. But there was another one, I think, at a more steeper angle, but I didn't see them. There they are. I should be able to dodge those. But need to keep an eye out for the others. If there are others. PT button front, but that's a matter. I don't see any other torpedo trails, so I think I'm safe. But you know, coming back to the game mode discussion thing, I'm part of several Discord servers of other content creators as well, of actual content creators, and they sometimes have takes of Naval that I just do not agree with. But I know that they play arcade, and Naval Arcade truly is a completely different beast. So it's kind of understandable where they come from playing arcade, but then, like, you have people that only play EC as well, and then their views on Naval is completely different as well. Just, yeah, can be difficult. Heli PvP was something, that's for sure. I've actually spaded the Japanese Huey in helicopter PvP. Never again. I do not want to touch that helicopter ever again. Because that was god awful. And heli PvE is not great either. Especially if you don't have a top tier helicopter. Or something, you know, long-range missiles. So, I think this Cruncher has made the common mistake when fighting the Ise. It is only Hyuga which has vulnerable ammo in the front. For Ise and Fusu, you want to shoot the middle turrets. I don't think I have the pen to do it, but I am going to shoot the middle turrets anyway, because I am exposed. So I'm gonna... Oh, that's great. That's a fire in the magazine. I hope it's going to put out soon. It didn't. There goes that turret. I don't know. He should be sinking. There we go, just continue to back up. I don't think I've actually played a plane with a targeting pod yet. Okay, no permanent flooding at least. I am in a turn, I don't know why I'm turning to the left like that. You might have to tweak the axis sensitivity if that's actually a problem for you. Although I don't know what axis that would be that you have to fiddle with. Yeah. PvE is still a bit... I don't like fighting Gepards when I don't have any weapons that outrange Gepards. Oh look, the Hagro is back again. But first we deal with the Alaska. If we can... There we go, that's what I wanted to see, a shell room detonation. Secondary, shoot the torpedoes again, please. There we go. Kind of. That was actually not far enough behind. There we go. You know, you'd think after coming around that island and getting your torpedoes shot out by me once, you wouldn't do it again. But well, I guess not for this guy. Perhaps. Or perhaps it is just a non-Navy player. Let's see if we can defang this Alaska with the rear turret as well. There we go. Goes the Hagro again. So, I don't know if you can see it, but I've destroyed the shell rooms of all three of his turrets on the Alaska, meaning the Alaska can no longer use his main guns. And... okay. Apparently an AI Northampton just detonated them. I'm not gonna complain about it. Makes my job a little bit easier. I didn't see exactly where the Hagro launches torpedoes, but I think if it sinks me now, I'll be fine with it. Also, the Alaska left after one death, obviously. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. Is there still a Fuso up, or is that it's possible there's still a Fuso up. Now, the question is, what is that Hagro gonna spawn in now? And why on earth do I keep seeing him in 7-0 matches? No real targets out here, are there? Enemy Hugo, that's interesting. There's a Fuso, that's good. There's the Hugo. But his hull is about to be hidden behind the Fuso, so let's try this. That's gonna be too far forward, actually. Oh, guy, almost. A bit too high. I think I'm also a bit too close to do it. I'm gonna go get back into cover, because that is a total of 24 14-inch guns, and I'd rather not sit in front of that. So let's just continue backing up. Although it seems the Fuso wants to fight now. Which is understandable. I still haven't gotten my torpedoes to 4-meter depth. But it could give him a good scare. And that is why you don't go bow into a battleship if you're in a destroyer, even if it is an AI one. So that's why he has a Mutsu as a backup. Aye, Navy guy. Still doesn't make much sense why you play a 5-7 heavy cruiser in a 7-0 lineup. The Fuso has stopped, so my torpedo will never hit him. I don't really have the pen to deal with the Fuso, but he definitely has the pen to deal with me. For the biggest chance to detonate the Fuso, you want to shoot at these two turrets. Especially this one here, turret number 4. Because its magazine sits well above the waterline. The thing is that these guns cannot pen that Fuso's belt. But we might be able to degrade it if we keep shooting it.
Destroy the target.
Do I have any battleships? I have an Alaska left on my team. What I'm doing right now is incredibly stupid, just sitting broadside onto a Fuso, but... oh well. Not exactly... I don't exactly have anything better to do at this point. It seems I've distracted him long enough from my other battleship to finally hit him. And there I finally go. But we are going to keep playing Von der Tann because I just want to get it spaded today. We're losing on tickets, aren't we? I don't think I can really shoot their convoy either. That one's moving, so it's a bit difficult to hit. It is one of the convoy ships. There's not going to be enough. Are there more back there? There are, actually. You know what? I might not have the time left to actually do it. I'm going to try.
Schüsse liegen im Ziel!
Yeah, I don't have the time to sink both of them, I think. But we can still try. I forgot how many tickets you actually bleed by killing a convoy ship. The guy's sinking, so let's now shoot the Emden.
Somebody attack him.
There we go. Oh, we're in ticket lead. So if we can sink this Emden, we'll actually secure victory. I'm moving my cursor left to right because you can see, because I'm stationary on the waves, my ship is actually rocking left to right and is throwing my guns off. So it's important to keep that little impact indicator on the lead indicator, especially on bow and ships like this. Okay, I've lost my lead indicator because I've lost my bridge. But I know it's just on target because it's stationary and I'm stationary. And that should be it sinking now as well. And we do have enough time for it to sink, I think, before game ends. Ah, come on. If it sinks, we'll actually win. There we go. Should be good. We should be good. Unless they sink one of our convoy ships, we should be good. Or will they notice? Yeah, I think that's match. Lovely. And the match will be over before my shells reach. There we go. And with a bit of luck, that might actually be enough to spade my boat. Yes, it is. So there we go. More spading bonuses and Tann fully modified. So that is another, almost 35 into Kaiser. With a bit more grinding, I should be able to get that. I should be able to get Kaiser in a week. If we'll be able to get Scharnhorst right after, that's a different question. But yeah, I am going to leave it at this for tonight, as it has been 3 hours now live. And my goal of tonight has been completed, Spading van der Tann. So yeah, next week, I'm either going to be doing British battleships or switching back to coastal. But I'll see then. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in this week and watching as usual. And I'll be seeing you all next week.